So let's talk about poetry. Not the kind you had to memorize in school, but a much simpler, more personal way to connect with it. We're going to explore how to take poetry off the bookshelf and really carry it with you, not as some heavy thing you have to remember, but more like a quiet companion in your day-to-day life. Okay, so let's just get into it. For a lot of us, right, our first brush with poetry was in a classroom, and it felt like a puzzle to be solved, something you had to analyze and dissect, and the whole point was to get the right answer. And this is the core idea from a group called the Vanambadi Poetry Club, and it just completely flips that whole academic approach on its head. The point isn't to capture a poem and hang it on the wall of your brain, It's to let it live with you. I mean, really think about that for a second. When you read a poem, does it feel like you're about to take a test? Do you worry that you're not going to get the real meaning? If that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. And that feeling of pressure, of intimidation, that's exactly what we're hoping to just let go of today. So if poetry isn't a test, what is it? Well, let's visit a place, or actually it's more of an idea, that has a totally different answer. Let's go to Vanambadi. Vanambadi isn't a real place you can find on a map. It's more of a state of mind. This imaginary town where their poetry club gathers. It's a space that's built on pure curiosity, not on who has the most degrees. You don't need a ticket to get in, just an open ear. Now, you might notice that interesting spelling there, PoAItry, and that's really just a quiet little nod to the AI that helps them out with some of their visuals. But it's pronounced just like poetry, because their whole philosophy is that the only piece of tech that truly matters here is the human heart. And check out their guidelines, because they're designed to take all that pressure off. You only bring a single line, not some epic poem. It doesn't matter if you're a professor or you've never read a poem in your life. And maybe the most radical rule: no applause, just silence. You let the words hang in the air and settle. Okay, so that's the philosophy. But how do we actually bring this into our own lives, right? Let's break down the incredibly simple but powerful practice that Vanambadi teaches. This whole art of carrying a line. And look, it's not some complicated system you have to follow. It's really just a gentle 4-part process, and it's all designed to help you weave a single phrase into your life without it ever feeling like homework. First things first, you don't go hunting for a line. You just wait for one to find you. It might be a line that kind of itches your brain, a phrase that just gets stuck in your head. Or maybe one that just settles you. It feels like taking a deep breath. Or it could be a line that startles you, one that suddenly gives you new words for a totally ordinary moment, like watching the rain. So to keep that line with you, you use these tiny little rituals, not some big commitment. There's the threshold whisper, where you turn every doorway you walk through into a little moment of reflection. The palm write uses touch, so you bypass that whole anxiety of trying to memorize something. And the object anchor, well, that just attaches the line to something you already do every day, like grabbing your morning coffee cup. So what happens when you do this? What's the point? Well, it's not about collecting a bunch of lines. It's about what happens when one of them truly starts to live with you. It creates this subtle but really profound change. And this, for me, is the most beautiful part. The line you carry around isn't some fixed piece of information. It's alive. Its meaning is going to shift and deepen and change as you move through all the different seasons of your own life. Let's use this famous line from Rabindranath Tagore. It's a perfect example of how this actually works in practice. So maybe when you first hear it, it feels like this big call to action, a reminder to be brave, hold your head high, face the world without fear. It feels like a line all about strength. But now, imagine carrying that line with you through a really tough year. One day, you might say it to yourself and feel something completely different. Not courage, but just this deep, deep exhaustion from trying to be brave for so long. The line is now holding your weariness for you. And then, maybe months or even years later, that same line transforms again. It might become a gentle invitation to just let go, to find peace not in fighting anymore, but in surrender. Same words, but now they hold a sense of rest. See? The line is growing with you. And this is that central metaphor. You aren't building some library of quotes in your head. You're finding a companion for the journey. Some lines are going to walk with you for a little while. Others might be there for a lifetime. And both are a gift. So in the end, the goal isn't to be able to recite more poetry at a dinner party. It's about letting it quietly work on you. The real proof that this practice is working isn't what you can quote, but a subtle change in how you pause, how you listen, how you meet the world. And the question it leaves us with is, what line might be out there right now, just waiting to choose you?